Apple has teamed up with Synchron to develop tech that lets people control its devices with their thoughts. So, Synchron is a neurotechnology company. They are a company that specializes in brain-computer interface, which means they deal with the technology that allows you to implant something in your brain. The implant in your brain can communicate with the computer in front of you. So, how does it work? I found a good handy diagram. So this is a stent-like implant, which is implanted in the brain on top of the vein in the brain's motor cortex. And this communicates with the computer through their device. They call it a stentrode or a stentron. And then this wirelessly communicates from your brain to the device, to the computer via Bluetooth. But I believe the technology with Apple is going to be slightly more sophisticated. So this is very new technology. You might have heard of Elon Musk and Neuralink. There's a bunch of companies in the US, particularly, and probably China, that are working on this kind of brain-computer interface using machine learning, using AI to try and get the thoughts that a human has and try and teach a computer what each thought means and do a bunch of training through those thoughts. At the moment, this is primarily intended to help people with conditions like spinal cord injuries or ALS. Other conditions like anything that can limit sort of the upper body use or the hand use in particular. So apparently this might cover about 150,000 people in the US. This isn't Apple's first foray into medtech or medical tech. They last year had an approval from the FDA to have AirPods seen as a type of hearing aid or over-the-counter hearing aid. But obviously those 18 and older, this is for a very particular group of people who might have kind of slightly dim or like a slight hearing loss, nothing too serious. But they had that approval, which is a very big deal because they're kind of stepping more into that sort of medtech scene. They also had their Apple Watch. So their Apple Watch also had a new sleep apnea detection. A bunch of things as well. Anyone who's got an Apple Watch knows there's a bunch of health features that you can use. But those two in particular kind of shows the direction that Apple is trying to take with their devices. It's not a good reason. So it's definitely for a reason that would make sense. So they're not doing this for free. This is obviously being done because of a good reason. And this is the reason. So if you look at the continents around the world that struggle the most with an aging society, you can tell the distribution below. So overall around the world is very good, it's balanced very nicely. You can see Africa's got the largest distribution of under 15-year-olds. But if you look at North America, Europe, some bits of Oceania, which is mainly Australia, New Zealand, and some other islands, it looks like it's kind of the Western world in particular. So those countries are going to have an aging society where in about 20, 30 years, most of the society is going to be over 65 years old. They are almost now, really, but they're going to be over 65, and there's going to be a real need for medical technology to detect, to be able to deal with this. So this is Apple kind of looking at a good market opportunity to try and get in and disrupt the medical technology industry, because everyone has an iPhone, and if that iPhone's going to have features, if the AirPods are going to have a hearing aid feature, which you're already using, of course you're going to keep using it if you get an Apple Watch. So we're going to be more health conscious as we all get older, especially in the West. Not so much for the global South. This is more for the Western countries with an aging population. I'll keep you guys posted on any other news in the medtech space, especially when it comes to Apple.